Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We're coming live from Music Row Studios. Thanks to everyone who rocked with us on the Surround Sound podcast starting lineup right here on Facebook Live, and everybody that's on YouTube right now, and everybody that is on Instagram and all those good places, Twitter and the like. We appreciate your love, your support, and your admiration. Everybody else, make sure you keep checking us out. Everybody that's in podcast land right now, make sure you keep checking us out on Facebook, Instagram. Just search Surround Sound Podcast, and on Twitter and YouTube as well. Just search Surround Sound Podcast. No doubt. Look for the hashtags. Big shouts out to everybody streaming and downloading via the iHeartRadio app, Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, Google Podcasts. I mean, everywhere that you can get your podcast. What's good, Troy? Sir Troy of Nashville. No, Sir Troy of Donaldson. How are you? Hey, I'll let you have that. Hey, you can have it all. You can have all that winter stuff. I don't want none of it. I enjoyed the past 2 days. They were a little bit more seasonably warmer, but I see that winter is could possibly be a guilty pleasure of yours. But what is another one of your guilty pleasures? And then I'll tell you mine. Yes. If you want me to go first, I can go first. What is your guilty pleasure? Do, 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 do. Okay. I am so surprised to hear you say that, Troy. And everybody that's in social media, you will have to go and download it because I am not about to say it again. You got to go and download it. Uh-huh. I'm... Mm-hmm. Yes. Make sure you always start that sentence with my wife. I like my wife. Yeah. Well, the middle, make sure, before you say the end part, you say my wife. Anyway, mine is a little bogus now. Not even necessarily bogus, but just not as cool as yours. Mine is potato chips and chicken wings. Yeah, of course. Yes. But this is the thing. That place that we go chose to put those two together, and I like chips and I like hot wings, but together, not so much. Not so much. It just wasn't the thing. It was not the thing. Nah. Anyway, without further ado, if you would like to get into advertising with the Surround Sound Podcast, make sure you email us at surroundsoundpodcast@gmail.com. That's right. Now it's time for the fabulous 4+1 mode. This is when I give you 4 of the hottest takes from the week, either that was or that is coming up. And I give you one more just because. First up, college football. Now, if this continues to play out how it's playing out so far, we're going to have a problem, people. The AP poll says it's Georgia, followed by Alabama, Cincinnati, and Oregon. The coaches poll says it's Georgia, followed by Alabama, Cincinnati, and then Ohio State. Now, of these two polls, I would be more likely, I would be more so inclined with the college football AP poll right now, because Georgia and Alabama haven't played. Cincinnati is still undefeated, and Oregon beat Ohio State. Now, by the year's end, either Georgia or Alabama will have lost, Well, Georgia will either have one loss. Alabama will have two losses. Cincinnati may or may not have lost. They may be still undefeated. And then Oregon may still Oregon's undefeated, but Oregon may still be in that top four. Now, Ohio State lost to Oregon. So I don't see how the coaches poll can put Ohio State there. I understand strength of schedule means a lot, but they still lost. Especially if you're going to put Cincinnati there. Now, that doesn't make sense because Cincinnati has a smaller or a more weaker strength of schedule than any of these 5 teams. So, how can you put Ohio State there and still have Cincinnati there? I do not know. Another story for another day. This is the thing, though. This is where the rubber meets the road and where something may have to change after this year if this continues to happen. In the college football playoff right now is UGA, top 4. UGA, Alabama, Oregon, and Ohio State. If Bama wins out, they will have 2 losses. No, if Bama wins out, they will have 1 loss, and Georgia will have 1 loss. Well, Bama beat Georgia head-to-head. Same thing if Oregon and OSU went out. They one of those participants would have lost to the other. Then you got Cincinnati. If Cincinnati wins out as well, we got a whole heap of something going on. Because now Cincinnati is the undefeated team that has beaten the top 5 team in Notre Dame. And I guess that part of the equation still has to mature and map its way out, because if Notre Dame continues to even move up just ever so slightly into a 5 or 6 position, now that win by Cincinnati against Notre Dame looks even better. And with that being said as well, does that Oregon win over Ohio State look better now? Does that if UGA beats Alabama in the SEC title game and Alabama is still, 2 or 3, now does that win look better? Well, if Bama beats Georgia, does that? I mean, I think what you doing, Lucy? What you doing? Anyway, number 2 on the Fabulous 4 plus 1 more. NHL news: the Nashville Predators are 9-5. Big shouts out to Matt Duchene. He leads the team in goals and assists. And big shouts out also. Okay, we're going to cut that part because I forgot that dude's name. I was not supposed to mention his name. Number 3 on the Fabulous 4 plus 1 more. NBA news: the Memphis Grizzlies are in the 8th slot, 8th in the West at 7-7. 5-5 of their last 10. The last game that I saw them play against the Rockets, their defense is slowly but surely starting to continue to go. Their defense is slowly but surely starting to show up. They won like 139-103. That's Grizz. That's grit and grind basketball with the jumper. You beat a team by 36 points. Go ahead, Grizz. Do your thing. The Lakers are 8-7, 7th in the West, 7-2 at home. Now, recently, the last 2, 3, 4 games have been lackluster. Russell Westbrook, the Brody, Carmelo Anthony, both have kind of been out of sorts. The Lakers went like 6 of 36 in a game. Field goal shooting. LeBron is supposed to come back this week. That's one of the highlights, or one of the bright aspects of what's going on right now. They're 7th in the West. I think if they stay right there, like 7th, 6th, 7th, 8th, by the time All-Star game rolls around, definitely by the time March and early April roll around, they'll be right there where they need to be. Next up, East Coast Eastern Conference. The Hawks are 6-9, ninth in the East. They are 1-8 away from Atlanta. They're like the opposite of the Lakers. The Lakers are 7-2 at home. The Hawks are 1-8 away from ATL. Some gotta give right there. Bucks 6-8, 10th in the East, but they are 2-0 in division. So hopefully they'll play more games in the division as the year matriculates on, and they'll be able to get that seed up. Number 4, entertainment. We have a bevy of entertainment news coming up right here on the Surround Sound Podcast. Make sure you stay tuned for that. Everybody that is on social media, peace. We'll holler at y'all later. Next time, make sure you go and download the show so you can hear the rest.